Imagine a world where the cure for cancer was discovered 1,000 years ago. Imagine a reality where humanity stepped foot on the moon during the Middle Ages, or where the Industrial Revolution began 2 millennia before the first steam engine ever hissed in Victorian England. This isn't the plot of a science fiction novel. It is the ghost of a future we once held in our hands, and then, in the ancient city of Alexandria, nestled on the coast of Egypt, there stood a monument not to a king or a god, but to the collective mind of the human race. The Great Library of Alexandria was more than just a building. It was the world's first true attempt to download the entire universe into a single room. It held the secrets of the stars, the blueprints of lost technology, and the wisdom of civilizations that have since vanished into the dust of time. But then the smoke rose, the fire consumed the papyrus, and in the span of a few tragic centuries, the lights of human reason were dimmed for 1,000 years. Today on GriotVibe, we are journeying back to the marble halls of the greatest storehouse of knowledge ever built. We will uncover how it rose, why it was obsessed with every book ever written, and the terrifying mystery of who finally pulled the trigger on the fire that set humanity back a millennium. To understand the tragedy, we must first understand the triumph. Our story begins in 331 BCE with a man who wanted to own the world, not just its land, but its secrets. Alexander the Great, the Macedonian conqueror, founded the city of Alexandria with a vision of creating a Mediterranean jewel where East met West. Alexander was a student of Aristotle. He knew that swords could conquer nations, but only knowledge could preserve an empire. After Alexander's untimely death, his empire was carved up by his generals. Egypt fell to Ptolemy I Soter. Ptolemy wasn't just a soldier, he was a visionary. He realized to make Alexandria the greatest city on earth, it needed more than just gold and military might. It needed a soul. He commissioned the museum, the Temple of the Muses, from which we get our modern word museum. Within this grand complex, he laid the foundations for the Great Library. The Ptolemaic dynasty became obsessed. They didn't just want a library, they wanted the library. They sent messengers to every corner of the known world, from the Silk Roads of the East to the misty islands of the North, with a simple, staggering command: buy every scroll, rent every book, borrow every map. If a king refused to sell, they would offer ridiculous fortunes. If money didn't work, they turned to more creative methods. One of the most fascinating aspects of Alexandria was its harbor law. It was a policy unlike any other in history. Whenever a trading vessel or a passenger ship docked at the Great Harbor of Alexandria, it wasn't just searched for contraband or spices. Armed royal guards would board every ship with one specific mission: to find scrolls. If a traveler was found with a manuscript, it was immediately seized and taken to the library. There, a small army of scribes would work feverishly to make a perfect copy. The twist? The library kept the original, and the traveler was given the copy. These scrolls were categorized under a special section called the Ship's Collection. Ptolemy III famously took this obsession to a new level. He once borrowed the original official manuscripts of the great Greek tragedies from Athens. He paid a massive fortune in silver as a security deposit. Once the scrolls arrived in Alexandria, he simply kept them, forfeited the silver, and sent back cheap copies. To the Ptolemies, knowledge was the only currency that truly mattered. At its peak, the library is estimated to have held between 400,000 and 700,000 scrolls. To put that in perspective, in a world before the printing press, that was essentially the sum total of human civilization. But what exactly was inside those scrolls? What was lost? this is the part that haunts historians the most. Within the walls of the library, the human mind reached heights that wouldn't be seen again for 1,500 years. Take Eratosthenes, for example. Using only a stick and the shadows of the sun, he calculated the circumference of the Earth with startling accuracy. He knew the world was a sphere when the rest of humanity thought it was flat. Then there was Aristarchus of Samos, who was the first to realize that the Earth revolved around the sun, a truth that would later get thinkers like Galileo imprisoned centuries by. The library housed the works of Archimedes, the father of engineering and hero of Alexandria, a man so far ahead of his time that he invented a working steam engine called the Iolipile. If that technology had been nurtured instead of lost, the Industrial Revolution might have happened in 50 CE. We could have had railways in ancient Rome. The library also contained the Pinakes, created by Callimachus, the world's first library catalog, and the groundbreaking medical texts of Herophilus, who mapped the human nervous system and understood the brain long before modern medicine. Perhaps most tragically, we lost the majority of the works of the great playwrights and philosophers. Of the hundreds of plays by Sophocles and Euripides, only a handful survived. We are looking at history through a keyhole, knowing that an entire ocean of wisdom was poured down the drain of time. So, how did it all end? Who burned the library? For centuries, people looked for a single villain, but the truth is far more complex and far more terrifying. The library didn't die in one night. It was murdered slowly by a series of catastrophes. The first major fire happened in 48 BCE. Julius Caesar was besieged in Alexandria, fighting for his life. In a desperate move, he set fire to his own fleet in the harbor to keep the enemy at bay. The flames, fanned by the Mediterranean winds, jumped from the wooden ships to the docks and eventually to the warehouses of the library. It is said that 40,000 scrolls turned to ash that night. But the library survived, albeit wounded. The second blow came in 270 CE during the Roman Emperor Aurelian's invasion, where the entire quarter of the city containing the library was leveled. Then came the rise of religious intolerance. In 391 CE, Emperor Theodosius ordered the destruction of all pagan temples. The daughter library at the Serapeum was ransacked by a mob. Finally, during the Arab conquest in 642 CE, the remaining remnants were said to have been used as fuel for the city's bathhouses. Whether it was Caesar's ego, Aurelian's war, or religious zealotry, the result was the same. The collective memory of our species was wiped clean. The Dark Ages weren't just a period of time, they were the direct result of the death of Alexandria. Today, where the Great Library once stood, a new, modern library, the Bibliotheca Alexandrina, stands as a tribute. But the original is gone forever. We live in a digital age where we believe our knowledge is safe in the cloud. We think that because we have Wikipedia and Google, we can never lose our history. But Alexandria serves as a haunting warning. Knowledge is fragile. It requires stability, peace, and a society that values truth over dogma. Every time we ignore science, every time we burn a book, or every time we allow history to be rewritten, a small part of Alexandria burns again. If that library had survived, what would your life look like today? Would we be exploring other galaxies? Would disease be a thing of the past? We will never know, but we can ensure that the libraries of today, our digital and physical storehouses of truth, never meet the same fate. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the ashes of the past. I am your host, and this is GriotVibe. If you want to keep the flame of history alive, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep seeking the truth.